Independent retail business can mean so many things these days. A brick and mortar store, an e-commerce business, a maker's online shop, a booth at an antique mall, and more. No matter which category you're in, Kathy Cruz, a fellow retail business owner and retail educator, will teach you how to market and manage your business efficiently so you can spend time doing other things you love. Welcome to the Savvy Shopkeeper Podcast.
Welcome to episode 43 of the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast. Should a retail store owner hire a virtual assistant? I'm your host, Kathy Cruz. My intention for this episode is to help retail business owners determine if hiring a virtual assistant makes sense for them. First, I want to start off with a shopkeeper shout out this time. And this one's for Samantha of Absolutely Southern Designs. I'll be sure to link her store in the show notes. She recently commented in another Facebook group and said, Kathy Cruz, I feel awkward even saying this, but I'm going somewhere with it. She said, Kathy Cruz is amazing. I've learned so much from her this year. And I want to mention Samantha because she's such a good example of a shopkeeper who is doing the work. She's applying what she's learning in Master Shopkeepers, what she's learning from the Shopkeepers Lab, so that she can be the best business owner she can be. She's applying the lessons to building a team she loves, to optimizing inventory in her store and in her online shop by eliminating some categories and services and then going all in on the categories of inventory that her customers love and turn over the fastest. So the credit doesn't go to me, it goes to Sam herself for doing the work and bossing up. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned her in this episode. I think I've mentioned her in a couple other different episodes where she shared some information, but I wanted to make sure that I gave her a shout out because I see her doing so much work on her business. Okay, let's get started on this episode. First, the question is, for many of you, or for some of you, you might be wondering, what is a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant provides professional administrative, technical, or creative assistance to clients, and they do this remotely, usually from home or from wherever they choose to work, a co-working space or wherever, or while they travel the world. But they offer those types of services for their clients. They're generally 1099 employees. They have their own online service-based business, and they invoice you for their service or services. The next question that I usually get is, what can a retailer delegate to a virtual assistant? And this, once you know what a virtual assistant does, this tends to be the question I get the most from people who have retail businesses, whether they have online shops or whether they have brick and mortar stores. They want to know, they're really curious, like, well, what could a virtual assistant do? And we are so used to doing everything ourselves that we have a hard time thinking about what someone else could do for us, especially you retailers out there that are the only person running your business. You don't have any team members. You don't have anyone else helping you. You're doing it all. And then even worse are the retail business owners who have control issues, and this keeps them from delegating or hiring. But this can be a big problem for business owners who want to grow and scale. Now, if you're happy with where your business is and you love running it by yourself and you don't want it to grow anymore and you are content, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you do want to grow and scale your business and you find yourself treading water and you don't understand why you're not growing, you have to let go of many or at least some of those tasks. If you don't, you'll find that you can't break a certain threshold in revenue at your store. If this is you, if you're wondering why you can't break maybe $100,000 or $150,000 in revenue or whatever the number may be, and you work alone, this could very well be why. Every time you open up your laptop or hop on a computer to do a task related to your brick and mortar business, I want you to think to yourself, can a VA do this work for me? So here's just a short list of some of the things a VA can do for retail business owners. They can manage files on your laptop or photos. I know personally my photo library right now has over 10,000 images. And even though every few months I try to keep it organized, I file things into certain albums so that it makes it easier to find, but even then I struggle. That's a good example. Obviously, social media curation, creation, scheduling, any of those things with social media, aside from maybe writing the content, that's something that you can still do. And eventually when they learn your voice, then they can do that. Email management is another good example, a great example, especially for the people that go to market and come back with tens of thousands of dollars in written orders. Inventory data entry. All of those orders that you get, and then you come in and you grab your laptop, and either you're doing it at home or you're doing it after store hours or even during store hours, and you're spending countless hours entering inventory, grabbing images from vendors and then placing those for your online shop. And the last example is email marketing. I mentioned email management. I literally mean your inbox for your business when I talk about email management. Email marketing are the emails that you send, hopefully regularly, to your customers. And I'm sure there's many more examples of what or ideas that I could give you of what a VA can do, but I thought I'd just mention those to start. So the next question that I tend to get is, what should a retailer expect to pay a virtual assistant? And this is probably the second most common question I hear about hiring VAs. Someone recently asked this in Master Shopkeepers, and it's not a cut and dry answer, but this is the easiest way I could explain it, and it's really similar to the levels of hiring that I discussed in episode 32, which was titled, Who Should Independent Retailers Hire for Social Media Management? I understand that as retail store owners, we aren't all the same. We all run our businesses different. We all delegate differently. Our revenue isn't the same. Our comfort levels with hiring aren't the same. But if you remember what I said in episode 30, my mission with Savvy Shopkeeper is to get you to work less and profit more. So to answer your question about pay for a VA, here's three levels or three examples that I can give you. The first one would be to hire an intern, and this person would do maybe a free 60 to 90 day trial. At this level, you're training them. You have to train them probably on everything regarding what you do. And then maybe after the 60, 90 day trial, you can hire them if they're a good fit. In this situation, rather than investing in dollars, you are making an investment in time, because training someone to do what you do in your business online will take some time. And at this level, you should be prepared to train them on the programs you use. You should be prepared to set up a system for them. For example, I use a Trello board with one of my virtual assistants, and I use Google Drive folders a lot with another assistant. And I'll be sure to link my resources page on my website so that you can check out Trello. It's fantastic for keeping projects organized. But the point here is that you're going to have to train them. If they're working for you to free and learning a skill, you're going to have to train them, and you're going to have to set up the systems for them. The new sponsor for this podcast is the Shopkeepers Academy. Tell me if you can relate to this as a shopkeeper. You crave sisterhood from other retail shop owners going through the same thing. You desperately search online for tools or education that will help you get ahead as a business owner, but Google is exhausting because you're busy running a business. And when you do find resources online, it isn't tailored to your type of business, an independent retail store. You need the guidance of lessons and information that empower you to keep your business afloat, or better yet, thriving in this stressful world. That's where the Shopkeepers Academy comes in. The Shopkeepers Academy is an online platform that was built specifically for independent retail business owners. It's a one-stop shop to sign up for education and community. Whether you want to grab an affordable ebook like a 9-page shipping guide, or get access to a comprehensive list of lessons by subscribing to the Shopkeepers Learning Lab, or if you want to join Master Shopkeepers, and that's a paid mastermind group of brick and mortar store owners, you'll know that every option in the Academy was designed for you, the independent retail business owner. I want to help all brick and mortar retailers work less and profit more. Is this what you want too? Visit shopkeepersacademy.com for more information. The next level would be to hire an entry-level VA, maybe someone who's already had some training They might be familiar with virtual assistant type work, or maybe it's a current team member, and this will cost you anywhere from $10 to $15 an hour. Most likely it's a minimum wage employee. This can work really nicely for the employee that's already on your team who maybe wants more hours of work, but they want to be able to work from home. They're tech savvy, they have a laptop or a computer at home they can use, and you pay them their hourly rate. The benefit here is that they're already familiar with your store, your brand, your customers, your products. There's less training involved here because they might already have some VA training, or they're already your employee and they've been trained in the store and on some of your systems. But between the two of you, you'll have to probably still work on some processes and do some other things to really get them fully functioning. So this would be like middle level. The next level would be to hire an experienced virtual assistant, or a specialized virtual assistant is what I call them. And usually this is anywhere between $25 and $50 an hour. And I know a lot of independent retailers kind of cringe at the $50 an hour rate. So just depending on the size of your business and what you can afford. But let's say, for instance, this virtual assistant is really specialized in social media, and they have references and a track record and case studies where they show you that they can really give you a return on your investment. That person might be worth $30, $40, $50 an hour, something for you to consider. But a general VA that is experienced, you could probably plan on hiring them at around the $20, $25 an hour range. And if you're a VA listening to this and you're cringing at what I'm saying, please reach out to me and let me know. But I feel like I have enough knowledge and experience with this to at least be able to guide retailers on this. The next thing I want to mention is the term virtual assistant. It's really a general term these days. A VA can be someone who handles mostly administrative tasks, or there are those who specialize in specific skills, like I mentioned, social media managers, maybe a copywriter, maybe email marketers. But the term VA, for whatever reason, it's like an umbrella title. It's used to describe all of them, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But I'm mentioning this because if you plan on delegating a specialized task like social media, you could potentially do a search for virtual assistant, or you could also do a search for social media manager. Just keep this in mind when you're hiring and searching for this person that you want to hire. So to summarize, there are business-related tasks we as retailers can all delegate, whether you want to admit it or not. If you decide to hire someone for VA type services, the less you pay, the more training you'll have to do, and/or the more structure you'll need to provide. And if you budget more for this type of service, the provider should be skilled and be giving you structure and definitely be giving you a return on your investment. I know for a fact that most shopkeepers are not delegating enough. As a retail store owner, you should not be spending your time doing $10 to $20 an hour tasks. I'm going to say this again. As a retail store owner, you should not be spending your time doing $10 to $20 an hour tasks. And that actually applies to me too. It's a lesson learned that I hope to change next year. You should be focusing on work that is valued at $50 an hour or more. You really should. So when you're doing data entry, when you're in your email inbox, answering the same questions over and over again, when you're scheduling social media posts, when you're doing work that seems very administrative focused, and it seems very routine, and you know someone else can do this just as well as you can. A good question to ask yourself is, and this is going to surprise you, but just go with me here. A good question to ask yourself is this something $1 million business owner would do? Is this something a $1 million business owner would do? It's not so much about the $1 million. Although I think that's a great and ambitious goal, there's nothing wrong at all with thinking about generating $1 million in revenue. It's more about putting the value of your time and your work as a business owner into perspective. I also want to add that I'm finding that most virtual assistants are providing services and working for online service-based business owners, so they aren't always familiar with the needs of brick and mortar store owners. So I'm currently building a referral network of virtual assistants that specifically serve retailers. So if you're a VA who has experience serving brick and mortar store owners or online shop owners and want to be part of my referral network, please use the contact form on my website or DM me on Instagram at Savvy Shopkeeper. Now, if you're a brick and mortar store owner who currently is working with a VA and your VA wants more clients, please have them reach out to me too. I would love to add them to my referral network. In Master Shopkeepers, I'll be teaching members how to prepare for working with a VA because I feel like I've answered a set of questions here, but then there's usually so many more questions. We'll cover things like how to protect your login and password information when working with a VA, how to set up a system, like for example, I mentioned Trello, to work collaboratively with a VA, how to hold them accountable, how to set KPIs for them. Some of these lessons and tools will be added to the Shopkeepers Lab too. So if you're a subscriber, you'll have access to some of these, but the more in-depth, step-by-step kind of lessons will for sure be in Master Shopkeepers. And you'll find info about both the Shopkeepers Lab and Master Shopkeepers at shopkeepersacademy.com. I'll mention it again, shopkeepersacademy.com. So it might seem like a lot of work to onboard a virtual assistant, and it does take some effort, especially to start. But once you set the system up, what's nice is that you won't have to recreate the wheel each time. And that's what's so great about setting up a Trello board or setting up somewhere where it gives your virtual assistant instructions or maybe video tutorials. There is a really efficient way of doing this. But once you do it, it's nice because let's say, for example, all of our businesses have turnover. And if you have to hire another virtual assistant, or let's say, for example, if you find that they have a strength somewhere and you want them to focus there, and then you want to hire another virtual assistant or maybe an in-store team member to handle some of the other tasks, it's easy because you already have everything written down somewhere and it's easy for you to just start delegating those tasks to that person. I hope I'm making sense. But if you want to see the show notes to this episode or find links to anything I mentioned, visit my blog at savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 43. That's savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 43. If you have any questions about this episode or what I talked about, you can always DM me on Instagram, like I mentioned, at savvyshopkeeper. And if you feel this episode could help a friend, or you think it's helping you, the whole podcast, this episode, please leave me a rating or review on Apple Podcast. I really appreciate when everyone does that. It's interesting to read the feedback and what people are saying, and sometimes it even helps guide me on future episodes. So until the next episode, be savvy and boss up.